Alright, like I said, my name is Cat Daddy from K104. I guess, K104 is the soundtrack for the city. Anybody from DFW knows. We play the loudest hip hop and R&B, and I've just been blessed just to be the host. To give away the tickets and let y'all do shout outs. But my favorite thing is the community events, showing up at the schools for career days, football games on Friday nights, and just real quick, when I see these kids out here, showcasing their passion and developing their skills, people always ask like, man, how did you get into radio, and what was like the thing to get into radio? And my only story is that when I was 17, I worked at McDonald's, and I used to, talk so much cooking on the grill. My manager was like, look, man, you don't shut your mouth, man. I'm gonna put you in the drive-thru and you can talk to everybody. And so I was like, look, I just want to be the best asset I can to the company. So he put me in the drive-thru, and I'm taking orders, and boom, hey, welcome to McDonald's, home with a Big Mac with 2-hour beef patties and a special sauce. Go ahead and glance over that menu and order when you're ready. And that was just my opportunity to make a connection through the drive-thru just for this, short time. So this guy comes to the drive-thru one night. He was like, wait a minute, son, that's you on the intercom? And I was like, yes, sir. He said, what are you doing in the drive-thru at McDonald's? I said, look, I don't know, man. I was on fries last week. This is my promotion. I'm on my way up. But he gave me his card. He said, what I mean is, son, you need to be on the radio. And he put me on the radio at 17, gave me my first opportunity, and I've been running my mouth ever since. But I try to tell this story as many times as I can to understand and to try to tell the story, especially for the parents and the kids that have a vision, have a dream. You don't go pro the day you get drafted. Does that make sense? Like, you go pro in your mindset, in your work ethic, and your discipline every day until then. That way when you get selected and they call your name, you've been there before in your mind. You've already exercised and showcased that opportunity and that skill. So, with my son and with anybody, when I go talk to kids, like, yo, go pro every day with your workout, with your diet, with your discipline. Listen to your coaches, listen to your teachers, follow the guidance. And, I'm saying, this is why we have so many pros and so many coaches in, D1, to share that wisdom with y'all. So I got my man Jeremie from SMU, clap it up, my man right here, Pony's doing big things. And you just said that y'all beat LSU yesterday. And so yeah, Pony up, man. Pony's doing big things. Clap it. Are we supposed to be sitting down, or we stand up? We sit down right, get cheered.
I appreciate the introduction. Before I answer that question, I just want to touch on something that he said, about going pro, before you actually go pro. I don't know if most of you guys know me at all, but I played 10 years professionally. I went to 3 colleges in my career, and I went through a lot of adversity. But going through that adversity and building that mindset of what Kevin just said about going pro, I became a professional overseas basketball player before I actually signed the contract. It was a mindset that I had, no matter the level that I was playing at. So, to the parents, your kid going through adversity, it's the best thing that can happen for them at a young age. I thrive, when people tell me about the adversity that they go through, the kid going through, because like he said, like, that's what makes you, what drives your dreams and your goals. But to answer this question, I'm the recruiting coordinator at SMU. When it comes to the recruiting process, a lot has changed, in this day and age. But I think, the core values are still the core values when you recruit a player. We look for hard-working kids, that come from good families, come from good backgrounds, kids that's, still invested in being a student athlete first. Of course, now you can make money playing basketball, but, those values are still important, to us, especially at SMU. So, we look for the kids that's, that's striving to to be hungry, to be passionate about the game, even though, money is involved. We're playing this game now, but the ones that's passionate, hardworking, everyday guys, is what I call them. So, that's not complete.
All right, now as far as, because what you're talking about is, work ethic and drive and passion. What about actual skills? What are college coaches looking for? What type of skills and attributes are y'all looking for?
We look for guys that can pass, dribble, and shoot. Depending on the position, obviously, when you're talking about post players, they can do multiple different things, or guards that can do multiple different things. But man, when you get to this level, at the highest level of college basketball, everybody can pass, dribble, and shoot. Like, you got to do things that's going to separate you, to get to this level, whether it's a kid that plays really hard or defends his butt off, or just a great teammate. All the little things that, when you're going through AAU and the high school that a lot of people kind of shy away from or neglect, those are the most important things to being one player at this level. Sorry about this fight.
Check. Now that we've got the skills down, how would parents package up the recruiting profile and make it easy for the coaches, whether it's highlight videos and reels or showcasing their child? How does that go?
I don't want to say it's not important. Social media is social media. That stuff does, resonate with us. But at the end of the day, it's still about what you're doing in between them lines for 40 minutes or however long a high school game is. I haven't been to one in a while, watch them online. But it's still about that. Like, the highlights are cool. But we still want to recruit kids that we see play for 40 minutes, how they interact with their teammates, how comfortable they are, how they come to the bench, look at their coach in the eyes, things like that. All of those things are still important in today's basketball.
And then the parents packaging that up, do they need to feel like there's competition with other players because you see other kids with highlight videos, you see other reels? Is that something like, oh, we have to do it because other kids are doing it?
That's a great question. I'm a firm believer in running your race, running your own race. I think what I see, too many parents and players are kind of looking at the next kid or the next playing parent and what they're doing. My best advice would be, whatever that development looks like for you and your kid, run your own race, and develop your kid the way that he's developing, and let him, go down his own path. Because when you look to the left and look to the right, it kind of slow you down, and my advice to you guys would just, whatever that development looks like just run your own race. And the right people will see your kid and see your son or your daughter.
Thank you. And then with this money coming in with these NIL deals, it's got to be hectic for coaches to navigate through that, and then especially for parents and the kids to try to decide, how do you secure these NIL deals? And is it just checks? Is it endorsement deals? How does that unfold?
When it comes to NIL, I think it's a great thing, first of all, for basketball, for kids to get paid. I think if I'm a parent, I'm still teaching my son or my daughter to love the game, for one, to be passionate about the game. And if you do all those things, the money gonna come. A lot of people messing up in today's basketball. And the reason why the transfer portal is the transfer portal, because a lot of parents and kids are making decisions based on financial gain. You know, the financial gain is going to be there, you know, if you still focus on the right things and the things that's important to playing basketball. You know, it's over 200-300 kids in the portal every year because someone has told a kid he should go to this school or that school for a certain amount of money, knowing that fit may not be right for that kid. You know, you have to find the right fit, the right coaching staff, the right place for your son or your daughter, and if they put the work in and they're good enough, the money is going to be there. You know, so and the last thing I said about the NIL, I think in this generation, it's more important than ever to have a strong circle around the kid, you know, because there's so many people out here to get something from the kid or to join the kid's circle just for a financial gain for themselves. So having a strong family support, a strong mother or father, you know, uncle, whoever it is, you know, around your kid is so important these days because, you know, everybody's not trying to help their kid. There's a lot of people that's looking for a come up, you know, in this business now. So be careful, you know, when it comes to the NIL stuff as well.
When you're saying, you know, be careful, and you've been through it, you've experienced it, you're on that side of it, you know, because you with the university. Where can the parents get help and advice from? Is there's, you know, you talk about the circle, but if the people in your circle haven't been through this, where's the helpline? Where's the, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, these are my options, you know, just to get some wisdom and advice?
I was coming to things like this, reaching out to people who you trust, who have knowledge of college basketball, NIL, all of those things, you know, because again, there's so many people out here that's trying to, you know, to swindle in and get in with kids, you know, to make money or to use a kid for their own personal, you know, endeavors or whatever. So, you know, my advice is to lean on the people that you love and you trust, or that you can reach out to, use your resources, and, you know, those are the people that I will lean on.
And the thing is with that, when you have these kids growing up and the parents like, okay, we want to make a right decision, we buy into whether it's you at SMU and we're all in for the program, and then you get a new job, right? So you go to another university and then now we're stuck. Man, we were buying in on SMU because of Jeremie, and now you're not here no more. What happens then?
But I go back to making the best decision for you and your family, you know, because that's what coaches do as well. I'll just be honest, like coaches, we make best decisions for our families. So as a player and a parent, you know, I will make the best decision for my family, you know, and base my decision off that, you know, and go from there.
Is it usually who has the most money?
Yeah. A lot of times, you know, like I said, the transfer portal is a transfer portal because a lot of people are making decisions based off money. You know, that's just where we are right now.
And here we go. What is the best way for athletes to balance their athletic skills with their academic performance to make themselves stand out to college recruiters? Are you looking for a 4.0 blue chip?
I wouldn't say we're looking for a 4.0 student. I mean, we want kids that's hardworking, kids on and off the court, you know, that's committed to being a student athlete. Now, what I will say is a lot of older kids in college, so if you're a kid in high school, you do want to make sure your grades are on point and things like that, because if they're not, and we're recruiting you, that kind of scratches you off the list. If your grades are not on point, you're a really good player, but you know, your grades are not where they need to be, and we have a kid that's coming out of the portal that's been in college a couple years, and we can get him out of the portal as a transfer, you know. So as a high school kid, you want to make sure that everything that you're doing is intentional to being the best athlete that you can be, to put yourself in the best position that you can be to be recruited.
And what are some common mistakes that you see families make during the recruiting process? I guess because it's maybe their first time going through it. What are some things that you see like, yeah, that's a common mistake. This is what we do in that situation?
I give everybody here a little insight. When we go out to AAU games and to high school games, not only are we recruiting a boy or a girl, we're recruiting families too. So, if we had a high school game or AAU game and you got mama, you got daddy cussing the referee out, cussing the coach out, standing up screaming and all of that, so things of that nature get your son or your daughter scratched off a coach's list. So I'll be the first one to tell everyone here, be mindful of that stuff, because and it go all the way down to social media, parents, social media, and stuff like that. So be mindful of that stuff, because you can hurt your own kid. You think we telling our kids to make sure they doing what they supposed to do, and we not doing what we supposed to do, and your son or your daughter end up not getting recruited because a coach seen you acting a fool, at an AAU tournament or a high school game or something like that. I know that's not good to hear, but I'm just being transparent with you guys.
Well, I think most of the parents here are pretty cool, calm. Yesterday I didn't hear too many crazy parents. I was one of the crazy parents. I had a referee ask me one time if I wanted to watch the game from the parking lot. Yeah, that was pretty funny. What age do you start seeing the recruit process? Because I had a father in here tell me yesterday that his daughter was number 4 in the nation as a 6th grader. What does that timeline look like? Am I getting calls during middle school when my child starts to grow? And, what does that timeline look like?
Man, you're making me the bad guy. I will say, you want to tell your son or your daughter, when they're achieving something like that, acknowledge their accomplishment, right? But at the same time, be realistic with them and know that 6th grade is not the end goal. Getting your college paid for is the end goal. So keep them humble, and keep them grounded on the things that's important, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not looking at the best 6th grader in the country right now. We recruit, starting about freshman year. So I kind of monitor guys that's in the freshman year, sophomore year, stuff like that. But in middle school, I think middle school down, I think it's big. Development is big. I think the focal point should be developing and getting better. Being ready, prepared for high school and things like that, and not so much being, the number 1 5th grader in the country.
And then, let's say I am getting calls. My son or daughter is just, really outstanding on the court. They've been getting. What are the questions that I need to ask as a parent when somebody just, calls me and shows interest? Hey, we seen Junior out there hooping. This is what we want to offer you, or this is what we want, what am I asking? If I've never been through this before, I'm jumping on the first offer that I can. What? 20 racks, I'm on my way. Let's sign up.
Well, I dropped this little nugget for everybody in here, and I don't want to bust nobody's bubble, and I'm not negative recruiting when I say this, but it's a lot of people that throw offers out to a kid in 6th, 7th grade, 8th grade, just to throw an offer out. The head coach, I guarantee you, has never seen the kid play, but they've thrown the offer out, and of course the kid is going to post it, the parents are going to post it, and everybody's happy, and things like that. But like you said, that same coach, he's in the 6th grade, in 5, 6 years from now, that same coach won't be at that school, who offered him. So, again, acknowledge it, it's an accomplishment, but be realistic and keep the main thing, and keep them grounded.
And what type What type of requests have you seen parents make? I mean, if they've got blue chip baller and they're getting calls, like what are some of the, hey, we're not coming up there unless we have this, or I mean, what are some realistic, requirements and requests versus like, okay, now you asking for a private jet, whatever, suites during the game?
But two sides of that, forced, I don't know if I should say this or not, but I'm gonna say it. A 4-star or 5-star athlete potentially, could make anywhere between 1 to 500,000, in NIL. Maybe a little more depending on the player. A transfer that's been in college, who's played, who's put up stats, who's put up numbers, could make anywhere between $5 to $1 million. Just depending on the kid and what he's done in college. So it is a lot of money out there to be made. Starting in April, they're going to pass a law. We're going to go to revenue sharing. And what that means is it's going to be like a salary cap. So basically, college basketball would be like the NBA. We're all going to have a salary cap, a certain amount of dollar to maintain to our roster. So they're going to take away the walk-on. So you're going to have 15 players. So that 14th and 15th player, he's going to need to be really good if he's a high school player, because that money goes into your salary cap. So I think that's something that's important as well for you guys to know. If you're a high school player, like, you need to be really good, and you need to be a really good student as well to not scratch yourself off the list, because as coaches, as a 14, 15 player, the money that goes into you getting a scholarship is going to come out of our salary cap. So we're not just going to take anybody.
Yeah, if they're paying that much money, I'm going to be a 50-year senior, man. Y'all clap it up for Jeremie from SMU. And you can be around if somebody wants to have a side, personal, some good opportunity for you to reach out to them. How can they get a hold of you, or are you going to be hanging out?
I can hang out for a minute. My social media is Coach Hart 32 on Instagram and Coach Hart 32 on Twitter. You guys can reach out to me anytime.
All right, so real quick, I want you to brag on Our Ball Nation and what you see, what they've done for the last, 6 years? This is the 6th year. Y'all clap it up for Our Ball Nation, setting it out. How does this program, do you feel like, do a good job for showcasing kids and, like Fireside? I've never seen any type of conversation like this at any of the camps that I've been around above, but, great Our Ball Nation, what you've seen, the work that they put in.
I give it an A+, man. I ended with saying this, like, a lot of the information that I'm sharing with y'all, there's a lot of people around the country don't even know about yet. So being able to be informed, I think, being able to be informed is the biggest thing that will help a parent, help a kid, because again, recruiting has changed. So you need to be equipped to what's going on out here, because if you're not equipped, then you get left behind. So I think it's great.
One more time for Jeremie from SMU. Appreciate that, Coach. Think we're ready to get on the court and close it out. All right, here we go. Our next guest, Mr. James, who played for both Dallas Mavericks and Washington Wizards. James also served as assistant coach for the 2018 Austin Spurs. That's right, 2018 champion Austin Spurs in the NBA G League. Okay, Coach, flash your jewelry. His impressive career extends overseas, where he won league championships in both Spain, Italy. You were named Player of the Year and earned MVP honors in the All-Star Game. Fortunate, it is an honor, a privilege, and a blessing to have him share with his journey with us tonight, both on and off the court. You can offer some valuable insights on what it takes to succeed in basketball and in life. Please join me in welcoming Mr. James Singleton. What's up, Coach?
You got that big boy deep voice right here, man.
You sure you don't want to be on radio, man? It's not too late, man.
I don't have the personality you have, man. Like, your personality is infectious.
I don't know, I've seen you with the kids yesterday, man. You have quite a grip on the kids, man. You're very inspirational, motivational to these kids. They look up to you figuratively and literally. Yeah. So you know, jumping on a conversation and what you heard Coach say, and give your perspective on, you know, because you've been through it clearly overseas, you know what I'm saying, and in the league here. You know, just give us a little bit about the evolution of the recruiting process and going pro, and how it was for you, and you know, what advice you can offer.
Growing up, this right here, I didn't have this. Like, my AAU, my showcase was the playground outside, like the hard top. My evaluators were grown men. So that right there really helped out a lot, and I was fortunate enough to have a good foundation and good support system of people around me, not just my parents, but like friends and my neighborhood.
Well, you talk about, you know, the playground, you know, being your showcase. Can you give me like specific, like 1 or 2 episodes, right place, right time, your game was on, somebody just happened to see you, caught their eye, and it was like a key moment for your career?
Everything changed for me when I was 15 years old. Like, I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. I live in the south side of Chicago. Yes, in Chicago. Okay, there we go. Well, I'm gonna say this and they're gonna know exactly what I mean. I was at the playground one day and I got in a fight with the wrong kid. And he was like the GD's son. Like the GD's leader, that was his son. It's just certain people you don't fight, but when somebody getting ready to hit you, you don't care where they're from. Long story short, I had to leave Chicago for that instantly, like the next day, and live with my sister in Jacksonville, Florida. I was a little raw when it came to game of basketball. So my sister, she's military, her husband's military. I was at the park across the street from their house, and there was a guy out there by the name of Arthur Davis. He was a former North Carolina player, but he ended up leaving because he hurt his back. So he saw me out there playing, and just, I don't know, it felt kind of creepy. Like, God just watched me play basketball, but he was like, if you want to learn how to play the game, meet me out here tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Okay. I went home, told my sister, she said no. But I'm kind of hard-headed, as all kids are. So I went out there anywhere, left the house about 5:30, he's out there shooting, and he was in his car. The next thing I know, he walks up around 5:45, and it's like, I said 6 o'clock. I was like, my sister's military, dude, like, you on time, you late. And I'm up already, so I went to play basketball. He taught me the game. He taught me how to use my athleticism, everything. So I was 6 foot when I left Chicago. I came back 6'8". And that was in a matter of 1 summer.
He's a pretty good coach, man.
Like, it helped out a lot because I understood the importance of using my offhand. I was the kid that always used to want to go right, lick right, no matter what. Learned how to use my left hand good. My athleticism kicked in. And I went back to Chicago, a totally different player, a different kid, because that entire summer, every single day, I was outside playing basketball, whether it was with him or without him. Anybody here that knows about Florida, it rains. Unpredictable. It's like bipolar weather. And I was just out there every single day, and I didn't notice the difference until I got home. And I went from the kid that was lazy, wanted to play football, baseball, football, baseball, wrestling, track, everything but basketball. And I came back a totally different individual, and it kind of sparked it for me.
So then what would you say, clearly, you know, growing 8 inches in Florida, I'm sure helped you out. But skill-wise, talent-wise, what was like the biggest thing that was a challenge for you? Or did it just come naturally? You just naturally evolved into a, you know what I'm saying, pro player? Like, what was something like, I have to work on this?
To become a pro player, nothing's ever natural. Like, you may have the athleticism, but you still have to work on your craft. Like, I don't care what anyone says. You can't read a book on this. Like, you have to put in the work. So when I say that they had a song, Every Day I'm Hustling, or Everyday Grind, it's an everyday thing. Like working on your ball handling, by yourself. Some kids want to play video games, would be the iPad kids. No, give me a basketball, let me just dribble to my mom and dad, tell me to stop and find another day.
And then, as far as education, as you grew as a basketball player and as an athlete, you know, how did the education play in that role as you grew as well?
education played a huge part for me because I'm a nerd. I don't care who knows it. I love technology. I'm into books, reading, whatever helps educate and grow my mind. Because the more I build this, everything else follows. The brain's a muscle. So without basketball, I cannot. Without sports, I can't play basketball. Without school, I can't play basketball. School helps me make my 7th grade team, make my 8th grade team. When you get to high school, you can be ineligible. The first 9 weeks. Like I teach in high school right now. And the reason I do is because I'm trying to get kids to understand that y'all just want to play sports all day. Y'all don't want to go to class, you don't go to school. Without that, don't even look at college. Without that, because you can't play the game. And as Coach Hart just said, recruiters know these things. Like when I coached with the Spurs, they showed me my profile from when I was in high school. I didn't know that thing existed back then. They go back and they legit talk to the janitor. They'll talk to your middle school teacher. They'll talk to the principal. They'll talk to the corner store person if they're still there. They want to know who you are as an individual, as a person. Are you a headache? Your head case. Like I have ADHD. That's not a disability. For me, it just teaches me to hyper-focus. So the things that all these kids are experiencing, been there, done that. So my way of helping is to literally pour back everything I've experienced throughout my years of playing and coaching into them.
Live to give. Who were those people for you in your career? You know, young athletes now look up to you and thank you for their skill, for teaching them skills and showing them the way, developing their talent. Who were those people you talked about, Arthur? Name some of the other people that that taught you some things and showed you the way, and really helped you out in your career. When you look back, it's like, wow, these 3 or 4 people, man, they really showed me the way, and I'm grateful for their effort.
Arthur, he got me started. He don't understand the importance of putting in the work to play basketball. My parents, I can never do anything without them because my dad was a truck driver. He's gone all the time. My mom was pretty much a single mom when he was gone. But I credit from high school when I went to junior college, I tore my ACL my freshman year, 5 games in. You play 6 games, back then you can get a red shirt. You played 5 games, you can get a red shirt, but I played 5 games. I tore my ACL that 5th game, so I had to sit out the remainder of the year. At that moment, I thought my career was done. Because I was the kid that couldn't do anything, black kid from Chicago, a statistic. But then I became something better. I was able to go to college, tore my ACL. Mine's gone. I failed every class after that because I got hurt so early in the school year. I had a coach by the name of Richard Mathis. Coffee and bananas burned into my system for life. He came to my dorm, got me out of bed. They used to call me Chicago because my junior college was in Mississippi. Came to my dorm, pulled me out of my room, took me to the weight room, said, look, you're going to scholarship. If you don't get he had choice words, out of bed, I'm going to send you home. I'm going to put you on the Greyhound bus. You ain't going to take a plane. Like, I'm going to make you hate this. I was not about to argue with that man. Like, he was a southern good old boy, so I love the man to death, but the work ethic I had, I lost because I got hurt. I never experienced it before. He took me to the gym every single day, made me work out when I had time to go to those trainers for rehab. He was there with me nonstop, like nonstop. Like he cared about me as if I was something. Like kind of how Prime cares for Travis Hunter. Coach Mathis was my prime, and he just got me to where I am forever grateful for that, like forever. And then after that, it is every individual that I've ever encountered. Like I learned from everybody. I learned from the kids more than I learned from adults. So you say those 3 important people. You start with Hart, which my family there with that. Coach Mathis, because he helped me realize who I was and never forget that. And then every other person I ever encountered, because now I know my why.
One last question. If you had a chance to go back and change something, middle school, high school, college, if you could go back and make a change, what would it be? What would the move be? Maybe something like, man, I missed the opportunity, or I was slacking on this.
That's a tough one. For me personally, I would have focused more on like just my body. Like mentally, I was cool because I liked learning, but I didn't understand the importance of recovery. I didn't understand the importance of nutrition. I'm a kid. I'm an athlete. I burned like 1,000 calories within 2 steps. And just financial literacy. Like that's something that they don't teach people growing up until you actually get money in your pocket. As a kid, knowing those things and then just being open-minded to listening and learning, those are things I wish I did a little bit better. But you live and you learn, never lose.
Some good game right there. Coach Singleton right here, y'all clap it up. And we'll see you on the court today. How can parents get a hold of you if they have any further questions or some advice? How can they get a hold?
And as a coach, I don't want any AAU coaches messing up what I'm doing. I'm different from every other coach. I'm not like high school coaches. I actually know the game. If there's any high school coaches there, I apologize in advance. But I know what these kids need to get there because I've walked that path. Overseas, in the States, injury, financial problems as a kid, like you name it, I've done it. So everything that they want to achieve, I had it. So I'm just going to teach them how to do it better than I did. Like my sons are in there right now. I have a kindergarten and a third grade right now. So right now, all your kids that are in there, they're pretty much my kids there. And like, I love talking to you guys, but I would rather be in there with them.
Y'all clap it up one more time, Coach Singleton right here. Man, thank y'all so much for bringing your kids out here. I tell kids all the time, sometimes greatness is uncomfortable. Sometimes these kids want it, sometimes you want it more than them. I learned with my son is, I can make my son do something, but I can't make him want to do it. And so as he grew older, he had to make decisions for high school and college and what sports to drop and what sports to continue to strive and get better at. And so those conversations are very important for you, moms and dads with your kids is, hey, greatness is uncomfortable. So sometimes you have to push them. But I remember my son, he'd be like, I don't want to play baseball. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna stand out there when they hit the ball, I'm just gonna watch it roll by. And I was like, man, I can make you go out there, but I can't make you want to do it. So, just continue to ask other parents and coaches and just try to get so much wisdom as you can as you continue to coach and, create your kids' future for them. I know they appreciate all the effort that y'all are putting in. The trips back and forth to practice and the shoes and the equipment and keeping up with all that, it gets overwhelming. So congratulations to y'all. Y'all keep it up. And anybody have questions for me? Okay, we got one more. Here we go. All right, my pleasure to introduce 2 standout athletes from the All Nation class of 2025. First, we have Taylor Barnes, 2-time UIL 6A state finalist. 3-time all-conference, all-region, all-area, and 2-time all-state player. My goodness. Taylor Barnes also named to ESPN's Top 100 as a 4-star recruit and committed to the University of California. Clap it up for my man Taylor Barnes. And Cameron Carroll. I'll bring your camera on. That's right, Cameron Carroll, 3-time all-conference, all-region, all-area player. Also ranked in ESPN's Top 100 as a 3-star recruit. Cameron committed to Rice University. These 2 young athletes have already achieved incredible success, and we're excited to hear more about their journeys. Please join me in welcoming Taylor and Cameron. Questions about your journey and early experience. Can you take us back to when it first started with All Nation? What was it like stepping into the showcase at that age?
It was a very fun experience because I remember
before the Eyeball Nation camp, I actually went to some national camp. It was called MSH TV, and they actually just throw you in the games against other top players and just older guys. Versus when I came to the Eyeball Nation camp, like they sort of like develop you first. They develop you, and they do things like this. Like I would say. At like national camps, when they're focused on just throwing kids out there in front of cameras and stuff, versus stuff like this where they're trying to help you and give you knowledge, it's just different, and it shows like basically Eyeball Nation tries to help the kid grow.
Yeah, I would kind of say the same. I remember I first came to it in 7th grade in middle school, and I just remember seeing a bunch of kids that I've like grown up playing with already. And we were just all spread out on the court, kind of doing our own thing, with skill work, getting shots up, just talking. And it was a lot of networking, and I really like that aspect, like Cam said, of the coaches just teaching us and like really getting to know us and encouraging us, and just telling us like what steps we need to take to continue with it in the school and kind of get prepared for like years down the line. So I like that.
You said 7th grade. How tall were you in 7th grade? How tall?
I wasn't this tall in 7th grade. I was probably like 5'8", maybe.
That's still tall. At what point did y'all realize that basketball could take you beyond just middle school courts? And was there a moment that changed how you saw the game? Tell me about that when you realized that.
I would say like as soon as I got in middle school, because it was like me and my dad, we used to work out like so much, and then it's just when you get to middle school, or like even when I got to high school, it's just you're different. So I mean, I'm not trying to like separate like a middle school kid from other middle school kids. I'm just saying when you get there and you're playing sports, usually the other kids like they're not really dedicated, or they're just doing it for fun. When I was in middle school, I felt like I was like trying to get to the NBA already, because I was doing so much. I was already like trying to push cars and stuff. My brother had me doing all type of crazy workouts, and it was just crazy. So I knew I was trying to go further than that. So
For me, I would say 8th grade when I went on my first unofficial, it was actually to SMU. I went with a couple of my teammates, and just being on campus and seeing like the facilities, talking to some of the coaches, meeting the players, that's when I was able to really like envision myself taking it to the next level, just being in that environment. So that's when I would say it happened.
I guess it's just important to go and see it and smell it, and to be it. Because one thing to hear about it, but it's another thing to walk, you know what I'm saying, in those spaces. So cool. How did being part of a competitive team and environment at such a young age shape your approach to the game and your mindset even off the court?
I would say like competitiveness as in like AU and stuff like that. At a young age, it exposes you to other kids that are hungry for it, and basically you're not just going there and just blowing out everybody. Especially if you play on a competitive team, like there's like leagues, like we used to play at the Duncanville Fieldhouse all the time. We used to be in like some type of leagues where you're playing the top kids in the area. Like even if you're young, like 7th, 8th grade, like there's other kids that are working for it. And if you're playing like the top kids over here, you're not gonna win every game. And it exposes you to that. I just lost a game, let me go work harder and stuff like that. You know, so you're just not just playing for fun, stuff like that.
Yeah, similar for me as well. It kind of taught me the importance of being prepared, like always being ready, like when it's time to play and compete, just be up for it, And then it also taught me the importance of leadership and kind of being committed, because being on these AU teams, like we're traveling a lot, you spend a lot of time with your teammates, your coaches. So really just doing it for them as well, because you're not just playing for yourself, you're playing for them as well. So I would say that's what it's like.
And that's amazing about sports is, having a team, having, a crew to work with and go through those things with. What were some of the setbacks that y'all had in high school? Some things that you're proud that you overcame?
I had an injury at the beginning of my sophomore year, and it was probably like one of the worst injuries I had. I had like a stress fracture. It was like in my left leg, and I've never went in my life not working out for like more than 3 or 4 months, and I actually had to sit out and not work out. I couldn't run, jump, or nothing. So it was just like, it was a setback, but I would say my mindset, I came back better because, I didn't take anything for granted anymore. So I came back working harder and, I came back stronger because like, even when I was hurt, I was doing like strengthening, and I actually took my body more serious after that, because when you get hurt, it's not a fun experience, and you don't want to be back in those shoes. So.
Mine was more of a mental hump to get over. Like coming into high school, I was a freshman on varsity, and then it was my first year, obviously. So I was just trying to keep up with like the seniors and the upperclassmen and trying to get used to the daily schedule. Because in middle school, it's not as rigorous as the schedule in high school. So just getting used to the long practices, the conditioning, like the intensity of the workouts, I would say that's what I had to overcome. But later on in the season, I just got used to just doing it over time.
What do y'all think separated y'all? I mean, you talked about, being in middle school, like, wow, we're with competition now. And then you're in, high school and you're a freshman trying to get it on with the seniors. Well, what separated you from the other freshmen? What was the skills or the talent set that you had that you felt like you had an advantage?
So when I came into high school, I automatically noticed that like I was a lot stronger than other freshmen. That's because I used to do like push-ups and stuff. Well, I still do it, but like I used to do like all type of push-ups and stuff. Like in 8th grade, that's when I started like, lifting for real. So I would say like size difference, and then my mentality was the main thing.
Mine was also my mentality, just staying focused, even off the court, and just being disciplined, like doing what I need to do in classes so I can stay on the court. Working out outside of practice, like make sure I was in the gym. I think that's what really did it.
Question that's not on the sheet. So, playing against stronger competition will make you tougher and toughen you up, right? Playing against lesser competition give you more confidence? Yes, no?
I would say yes, but also I feel like it's kind of harder to play against, like lesser competition at times, because sometimes you're tempted to play down to that level and kind of be lazy and not do not play how you would normally play. So I would feel like it's mentally harder, but playing against stronger people, like it's stronger physically and stuff.
Yeah, I would say definitely playing against stronger competition. It helps you prepare yourself for better levels, because you can't get away with certain stuff. So like when you playing less competition, you might be able to get away with things that you won't be able to get away with, and that's the main thing.
And advice for younger kids. I mean, y'all are still young in your careers, but maybe if you could go back 4 or 5 years, what advice would you give yourself?
I would say that it's a journey. Definitely, there's going to be highs and lows, but ultimately, you just have to stay the course and not give up. Just keep pushing through, like even those low moments, because there's also going to be high moments coming soon. And ultimately, it'll all pay off in the end. You just stick with it. So I think that's what I would say.
Yeah, like you said, like the work. I would tell myself the work pays off. Like don't make sure, because when I was younger, I used to like look at rankings and stuff a lot, but now I would just tell myself, don't worry about any of that, because when you put the work in, it always prevails. And it's just something that God has put on the earth. Like, you put in the work, it's gonna come to light.
That's the mama mentality, man. You have all the talent and the skills, man. You still have all the passion. That's what's up. Y'all clap it up for Taylor Barnes and Carroll. Y'all did amazing up here. This is late at night and dealing with the coaches and finding the best programs for them. And this is what Our Ball Nation provides for y'all. And, you know, anybody with Our Ball Nation is going to offer some advice and some time and some conversation to help you in your decisions in the future. So, yeah, one more time, clap it up, Fireside Chats.